I think you guys saw we've made a pretty big push around the 3 products that's currently live between Taiga as well as Tapio. So for those who are just tuning in, I think we shared the PowerPoint deck in the AMA channel, so you guys can follow along. Okay, so first thing first, want to quickly talk about 3-pool because 3-pool on Karura specifically, because this is actually one of the most best incentivized stablecoin pools across all networks. Right now, there are around 600K worth of TVL in this pool. For those who are not familiar, 3-pool on Karura is made up of AUSD, USDT, and USDC. So the integration has been fully complete. We also lifted the deposit limit last week, so you guys can enjoy this pool responsibly. We haven't made a really big push towards the LPs yet, so the stablecoin LPs, that's something that we're planning to do. But once they start coming in, the APR is definitely not going to stay the same. Right now, you guys will be getting around 40% plus on the 3-pool on Karura, and it's made up of 4 different flavors of incentives, plus the fee coming from swap and redemption transactions. So we've kind of been saying this over and over again. It's definitely one of the more sustainable and competitive pool, stablecoin pools specifically, across all networks, not just in Polkadot. For those who haven't tried it yet, I strongly encourage you guys to try it. One question that's been coming up quite frequently is users are not seeing the yield accumulate when they're trying to make a claim. So right now, the incentives are being accrued and distributed on a weekly basis. We're working on increasing the frequency for the accrual process so that you guys can later on, see. We'll try to do it more on a daily basis, so you guys can see on a daily basis how much incentive you guys have accrued. But the claim function, we will keep that to on a per week basis. So that's something that we're fine tuning right now for this pool. So moving on, the Taiga KSM integration. So this is something that we've been saying, over the last couple of months actually, because obviously we chose Acala to be the first parachain to deploy our solutions on. But we did mention, many times that the Taiga as well as Tapio protocol is powered by the stable asset system. And ultimately, the stable asset system is built in substrate palette. And this palette can actually be deployed to any substrate-based chains. Okay, so I should say to any paired chains that support substrate-native asset. That's should be the more correct way to frame this. So we've been talking to the Pipefinance team for over 2 months now, because Pipefinance has introduced their own liquid staking KSM called VKSM. So what's happening right now is we can actually build out a pool made up of Taiga KSM and VKSM, to help them basically facilitate the stable swap function. So what's going to happen is, Taiga KSM can also be minted if a user contributes either KSM or VKSM. This is just an expansion of use case for 2 things. Number one is obviously the stable asset, swap pool. Traders can kind of swap in and out of the KSM derivatives between KSM derivatives and native KSM. That's number one. And then the second use case is the use of the Pike KSM. Okay, so what's going to happen is users who contributed liquidity can then, whether they contributed KSM or VKSM, they can then mint Taiga KSM, and then Taiga KSM, because one thing that we're working on right now is making Taiga KSM a collateral type. So indirectly, sorry, just give me 1 second, guys. Sorry, my phone was just kicking in. So what's going to happen is, users who are holding VKSM, there's an indirect use case for it, meaning that they can directly mint Taiga KSM and then use that to mint AUSD. So that's always something that we've kind of been, sharing with parachain teams, because not every single liquid staking asset can be included as a collateral type for AUSD. So we're sort of, acting as that intermediary to unlock sort of DeFi use cases for some of these, DOT or KSM derivatives. So one thing, on this slide, they basically, the Bifrost team has applied for it's not a subsidy, it's more like a, sorry guys. Sorry guys. All right. Okay. So one thing that they've applied for from the KSM Treasury Council is sort of like a rental proposal. I believe it's 50,000 if I remember correctly, but they're basically asking for 50,000, but it's not a grant, it's not a subsidy, it's more like a rental liquidity from the KSM Treasury. And then what they'll do is they'll use half of it to mint, use half of those KSM to mint Taiga KSM. And then basically they're going to have to repay back, those liquidity back to KSM Treasury in 1 year's time plus interest. This is a very innovative and interesting way to bootstrap liquidity. The proposal right now is going on. So for those who are interested in taking part of the governance, feel free to check out that proposal and cast. I don't think you can cast your votes yet, but it's basically going through KSM Treasury. All right, so next is so I attended the Polkadot Decoded in Berlin last week, 2-day event. It was a really good chance to be connected with people that are also building in the Polkadot ecosystem. We officially started building in Polkadot in February of last year, 2021. So it's been more than 15 months that we've been kind of building in the ecosystem, have been working with a lot of teams, especially very closely with the Acala team. So it was a really good chance to get together with some of their team members, Brian, Dan, also some of the developers as well. We also had a chance to present. During my presentation, I basically talked about how, Tapio is positioned to be sort of a common goods function servicing all the parachains that have introduced their own staking or crowdloan derivatives. I think, the reception went pretty well. A number of people after the session actually came and followed up with me, trying to understand, how they can put their assets to work and trying to understand the mechanics behind pegging. That was like a very common question that I have received, at the event, because people are, they're interested to find out, with the recent events of obviously the depegging and the STTH and sort of, just going off peg, like what's going to happen to tDOT and potentially Taiga KSM. So what I'll be doing is I'll be putting together a thread just to explain, how the pegging mechanism actually works for tDOT. All of this material is actually available in our docs, but I'm not sure how many people read it and try to interpret it and try to understand it. So I'll try to put it in simpler language for everyone to understand how the mechanism actually works. Also, during Dan's presentation, Dan actually revealed one of the projects that we've been kind of working on behind the scenes. It's called Pike. So Pipefinance is basically a money market designed specifically for the native assets on Polkadot. So that means the DOT assets. So whether it's native DOT, liquid staking DOT, LDOT, or tDOT, this money market is basically tailored to this specific asset class. So that shows you guys how how much conviction we have around not only the Polkadot ecosystem, but also the different types of derivatives, sound derivatives that lives in this ecosystem. So we've been working on Pike together with the Acala team for a little bit over a month now. We took the chance at Berlin to introduce this to everyone. And right now we're kind of going through the process of building. The expected beta launch is end of August. So, right at the end of Q2. We have a mailing list on right now. We have the social media, which is Twitter. If you guys are interested to follow up on this project or get a closer grip to see what's going on, definitely recommend you guys to join the mailing list, join the newsletter, as well as follow us on Twitter. The handle is just @Pipefinance. Right now, there's a bunch of stuff that we need to do for this project, but don't want to share too much on this call because this is the for Tapio and Taiga. Okay, but this is definitely something exciting that we have in the pipeline. Okay, so moving on, we just started the 4th community event. So I know a lot of people have kind of been asking, right? Like, how come we're not giving away tokens? How come these missions are not being compensated by the Taiga token or the Tapio token? So first of all, Tapio has not gone through a token generation event yet, so there's no TAP token. If you hear anything else, it's not true. It's probably a scam, so don't fall for it. The reason why we're not giving out TAP tokens for these events is mainly because we want to build up a sustainable community. I think we did 2 events where we distributed 3, including the retroactive usage airdrop. We basically did 3 different events where we gave out TAI tokens. I think it was a good way for us to build out the I think it was a good way for us to build out the community. However, right now, I think everybody can agree that the overall market conditions has not been optimal. So we also want to save the budget for when the market condition is good, to utilize our sort of community treasury better. This is basically, these tokens are ultimately coming out from the community reserve. So if we're giving away right now, I think most of the people are not going to treasure it that much, and ultimately what's going to happen is it's going to end up being circling supply in the open market. So it really doesn't do any good for number one, the project, which is us, and number 2, which are the loyal sort of supporters and community members, which are you guys. So instead, we'll be switching to, well, not switching, but we've always had this XP system in Discord where participating in these simple missions can allow you to earn XP. So what's going to happen is, hello? So what's going to happen is you guys can earn XP, and I think I saw in the group previously that when can the users get to, the explorer role, because like we haven't had enough events. So this is a way for you guys to really ramp up the XP to get to certain roles. And again, right, like what are some of the benefits to getting roles? I think there's a ton. We are making merch. Okay, so we are making merch. So for certain roles, you guys will be able to receive these merchandise. Number two is a potential public sale down the line for the Tapio project. So I think this is where something that would excite everybody. And then also being able to be included in some of our exclusive chat channels in Discords, where we actively talk about the project as well as share information on what's going on before everybody knows it. So this is a really good way for everyone who's very much involved with our project right now to continue to get those XP to level up. And finally, I want to talk about our ambassador program, because I think we've received a number of applications over the last month, the month of June. So when we first started, I think the ambassador program, we've received a lot of applications. It kind of trickled down throughout maybe like the last 3 months or so, but now it's kind of picking back up. So again, right, it's like I've been repeating this like many times. This is like joining the ambassador program is one of the best ways to get involved with the Web3 or crypto industry. I would say after going to Decoded in Berlin, like I actually found out that a lot of the Parachain teams right now, they actually started off in ambassador programs, the Polkadot ambassador program. Obviously, they've done a phenomenal job in building the Polkadot ambassador program. It's one of the largest ambassador programs relative to other type of network layer projects. I think they have over like 10,000 members in like different locations. Basically, Decoded outside of Berlin was organized by different ambassadors and community groups. So, anyways, obviously, they're much further ahead, and we're just at the beginning. But this is ultimately where you can sort of learn the quickest about the industry, about the trends, about the opportunities and potential problems that you can help solve. So with us, right, like, we are very open to working with ambassadors. There's a number of roles and functions where we feel you guys can help contribute value. So I strongly recommend everyone to take a look. Like, even though if you feel you don't qualify, you never know, like, what are some of the attributes that you have which are what we need. So go ahead and take a look into our ambassador program. I think we'll be onboarding a few good ones in the coming weeks. So I think that's all for calls this week. Let's see if there are any questions. Okay, let's see. Hey, can you guys hear me? I'm sorry, like I tried to look at the AMA chat, but then it kind of locked me out. Can you guys hear me? Okay, yeah, really sorry about that, the technical glitch. Yeah, I was just going through some of the questions, right? There was a question by Third and Third. Did rewards change for staking Taiga KSM? The answer is no. The reason why it's come down is mainly because the swaps volume has come down. However, I was saying just now that with the Bifrost integration, that would bring the volume, the liquidity in the pool up, and then we should be able to trigger more swap transactions because users would need to sort of get in and out between the VKSM. So yeah, and once that happens, we can tweak the emission for APR for TAI again. So another question by No Risk, No Fun concerning Taiga and the new project Pike launched by Finance. Do these two projects share the same TAI token, or a token will be created for Pike? So I was saying just now, like Pike is still at its early phase right now. It's obviously money market dedicated specifically for native assets on Polkadot. It's not related. Well, I shouldn't say it's not related, but it's definitely a different project from Taiga and Tapio. It's more like an extension of Tapio, because obviously Tapio is addressing the derivatives cost generated from staking and crowdloan dots, and what Pike does is it actually allows users to put those derivatives dot to use, either through the form of tDOT or in its natural form. So, for example, LDOT. So it's very, like, the value proposition is actually very simple. We believe the staking dot as well as crowdloan dots are quality assets in the Polkadot ecosystem, and right now there isn't a single money market solution out there that caters to this to this type of asset specifically. So that's why if no one's building it, we'll do it, because I think we have the necessary expertise and support from the Acala team to run this product. So we're gonna probably run a separate set of tokenomics for Pike, but overall right now the project is still in its infancy stage. I mentioned just now earlier on the call that we aim to deliver beta by the end of August, and then after that we will start working on token economic design and etc. For those who are interested, right, like go follow our Twitter. It's at Pipefinance, and subscribe to our mailing list. Okay, any other questions? You guys can throw it into the AMA chat. So third and third, two questions. Was the 3-pool audited? So so 3-pool is powered by the stable asset system. Stable asset system had been audited by RS Labs. One thing that you guys should be made aware of is the stable asset system was actually built in Palette, so it's actually directly integrated into the Acala technology stack. So that piece as a whole and the Palette module have been audited, and that allows for us launching like different types of pools, whether it's the Taiga KSM pool or the 3 pool or the tDOT pool. So the short answer to your question is yes. will Pike launch on Karura first or too early? So with Pike, we're actually looking to go straight to launch on Polkadot. On Polkadot instead of Karura, mainly because the first asset that we'll be handling are the DOT assets. So whether it's DOT, LDOT, tDOT, or other forms of sound DOT derivatives that we feel should be included, that's the pain point that we're trying to address. There's the potential to go backwards, where we launch the Polkadot one first, launch Pike on Polkadot first, and then go back to Kusama. There's that possibility. However, like right now, the plan is to start right off with the Polkadot on Polkadot first. Acala in that case. See some new faces joining today. So Big V, I've never seen you here before, so thanks for joining in. Cluster Cuss. That's a very strong name, strong screen name. It's Cluster Cuss. Chucky and Thomas. Thomas, your avatar is very sharp. I like it. Just big green dot. All right, cool, guys. If there are no more questions, we can wrap up. Again, right, like for the coming weeks, we'll be continue to make a big push around, the 3 products that we have launched. So Taiga KSM 3 pool on Karura, and then tDOT on Acala. One thing that I did not mention earlier was the we're planning for the 3 pool launch on Acala. So that's something that's happening right now in the background. But 2 sort of things to look forward to is 3 pool on Acala, as well as the integration with BKSM by Frost. So those are the 2 immediate opportunities that's in the pipeline. And we're also working with other parachain teams right now on new use cases for either tDOT or the 3 USD LP token from 3 pool. So stay tuned. All right, guys. Have a good day or night wherever you guys are. I'll chat with you guys in 2 weeks' time. Okay. Bye now.